or that he got home like very shortly after that, and I think that she ended up confronting him then. She messaged me like very shortly after. He didn't want to be with me. He was denying all the allegations and whatever. But she messaged me saying like he just left again and let me know if he reaches out to you. And right when I got her message saying that, he texted me just the word wow. So I texted her, or I messaged her back and I told her that. I will say that like the entire time that she and I were messaging, she seemed a little bit in shock, but she was very, very calm. Like, simply put, she wasn't mad enough for me. I didn't know if that's because she was processing it or if she's used to this, but it didn't seem like it was the first time that he had done this, and it also didn't seem like she was leaving.
All right, what's up with it, y'all? So look, man, I'm back again with another video, right? And look, one of my supporters hit me up asking me, have I seen this situation where a young lady exposed a man for having a girlfriend before TikTok shut down? Now look, if you don't know what the hell is going on, before TikTok did shut down, a lot of people started exposing themselves, exposing businesses, exposing their spouses, and I mean just telling secrets about them scamming and different things like that. Now I don't know exactly what the hell is going on with this, but it sounds like that's what she did before TikTok shut down. But TikTok's still here, so that stuff still sticks with you, you feel me? And I always been a believer of not coming to the internet for nothing. Even if you played me or anything like that, I'm not finna come to the internet. Now, if it's some business, I'm gonna blast you, probably expose you on that if we can't come to a resolution and you playing me. But other than that, I don't feel like it's a need to go to the internet. But people gonna do what they want to do with their own life, and we can't do nothing but accept it. But I do want to say, man, if you're proclaiming to be a man, why would you be out here lying to these women? You're belittling yourself when you can just simply tell the truth and walk within who you want to be. You feel me? Not who you claiming to be, who you want to be. If you want to have multiple women, let that be known. Some people might not accept it. Some people might. You feel me? But anyway it go, you told your truth. And yeah, if you expose somebody for doing that, then you weird. But obviously he lied, so we finna get into this. I just never understood that. And that goes for the women too. Stop popping that cat on these different men if you can't tell them what the hell is up from the gate. Let them know you got a man. Hell, you know how it go, vice versa. Y'all throwing that cat around their room, putting all that good old cat and good old head on these dudes, and then they be going crazy on you. You feel me? But anyway, let's get straight into this. I want to tell all my supporters I appreciate y'all for being here. I hope that everything is okay with you and your family, and I'm wishing y'all nothing but the best in every aspect of your life. And I'm also sending y'all nothing but peace, blessings, and prosperous energy our way. When I say that, I'm strictly talking to those who reciprocate the same energy back to me, and to those who say the same thing back to me in return. Other than that, we finna get into this. Make sure y'all add all my social medias, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all that's gonna be in the comment section if y'all want to add those. If you don't want to, I ain't doing no tripping. Other than that, let's get into it and see what the hell going on with this lying fucker. Stop lying, bro. Tell people the truth, bro. Real talk.
TikTok is ending, but I'm gonna be messy and go ahead and share the story of how I'm supposed to be driving to Philadelphia literally right now, but I'm not, because I found out the guy that I'm dating and was supposed to be meeting up with has a live-in girlfriend of 5 years.
Damn,
if you
5 years.
For any amount of time, you would know that I am a certified crash out. I have never been one to heal in silence. I've always been one to tweet through it, or in this case, TikTok through it. I'm always gonna process exactly how I'm feeling out loud. There's, again, no shame in that. What's shameful is what you did, Montez. Let's start with how I started. Because I don't, and like I said, I'm so tired of men just not being held accountable. His name on here is Becoming a Psychologist, and on Twitter and Instagram, it's Joe Sweatpants.
Try to look cool.
And again, his name is Montez. Anyway, we started out because I posted a picture, a selfie on Twitter, and because I'm so gorgeous, I got a lot of followers, and just people that were kind of like...
Okay, hold up. So I just went on there and looked for cuz I couldn't find. I'm not going to look up nothing with no gray sweatpants. That ain't got shit to do with me. So I looked up right there about the psychologist, and it ain't on there. He deleted the page, I guess. I'm not for sure, but I'm pretty sure if I do a deep dive a little bit later, I'll probably find out more about it. But yeah, man, I can't stop lying, bro. I used to be a habitual liar, and I seen how much pain and turmoil it caused me and how much shit I went through for lying, bro. And it just feels so good to just walk in my truth and tell the truth about every goddamn thing. So yeah, try to do that. Let's get back into it, though.
And he was one of them.
Yeah.
He messaged me on Twitter and said something like the initial conversation that we had didn't really go anywhere. And then a few days later, he messaged me on Instagram. I want to say this was like right before Thanksgiving was his very, very first message to me on Twitter.
Right.
And then right after Thanksgiving was his second message to me on Instagram. The conversation that we had on Instagram like stuck. It kind of went somewhere, and well, it went everywhere. From there, we never stopped talking. We decided to like exchange numbers, and he asked me to call him. I remember I was driving home from my parents' house that day. So I called him like while I was in the car driving home, and then the second I got home, I FaceTimed him. Right. I am a very delusional lover girl. Literally, my name on Twitter is Lover Girl Kenny. But at the same time, as you know, delusional and crazy as I am, I don't like to assume that every single guy that hits me up is like on some romantic shit. Like,
Yeah,
I
straight up
like to kind of feel it out first, and I had thought it was, but it was confirmed to me during our first FaceTime call when I got on the screen and he was like, wow, you're real life gorgeous. Like, you're not just, it's not just like on Twitter. So I was like, okay, this is like what I thought it was. There's something here, basically. Every day after that, we talked, texted, and FaceTimed, like heavy. Every single day, all day.
Yeah.
We talked about taking trips together. We wanted to go to Canada and Philly and Michigan, like all these different places just all across the nation. I had just started a new job, maybe like a month and a half, 2 months prior to he and I connecting. So I didn't have leave yet. Like, I was still within my 90 days at work and I didn't have leave yet. So I didn't want to commit to taking a trip, but I was like, in the future, once I figure it out, yes, like I'm down. So that was kind of like in the balance, and we were talking about it, but we hadn't set anything up yet. But we still continue talking, like I said, FaceTiming, calling, texting, all day, every day, up until early December when, like, through the time that I took a business trip for work. I was literally texting him, like, the whole road trip. I was talking to my coworker about him and kind of saying, like, there's this new guy in my life. I called him to let him know I was going out to dinner, texted him throughout dinner, pictures of the food I got back home to the hotel, and FaceTimed him, like, we were talking about all the things that, like, you talk about when you're meeting someone new and trying to get to know someone new.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just sexual. It wasn't just like light stuff. Like, we were talking, and he handled me with so much care. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. He's studying to become a therapist, as his ad on here would suggest. And he was so sensitive with me and so caring, and so he just handled me with care. Like, I really enjoyed talking to him. It was such a delight, and I always looked forward to it. I can't stress this enough. It was fully understood that we were talking as though we were interested in being with one another. We wanted to get to know each other on a deeper level. I mentioned a second ago that it was all until I got home from, like, the work trip that I went on, and that was because we got into an argument the second I got home. The work trip was exhausting. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work, a lot of being on the go, paired with being inebriated. So on the day that I traveled back from work, I got home and I, like, had to go pick up my puppy. I had just, like, a lot of stuff to do. I finally got home and I was just exhausted, but he was, like, pressuring me to FaceTime him because I don't think we got to FaceTime that day because I had been, like, on the road. So he's pressuring me to FaceTime him. I was like, I really want to have energy for you. Like, I'm not going to be fun to talk to if I talk to you, like, right now.
He thought she was messing with somebody else.
So he was like, okay, take your nap. I took a nap. And I thought I was going to wake up, but I ended up not. I just slept through the night up until, like, through the next morning.
Ooh, you was in trouble.
So I texted him, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was so tired. I just ended up falling asleep. Like, I'm sorry. I could tell he was disappointed because he had texted me saying, like, that's enough sleep or whatever, and something else. So I knew he was kind of, like, annoyed that I had fallen asleep, but it wasn't that big of a deal to me. Like, I was literally telling you all day, I'm so tired, but I can't wait to talk to you. Like, it was just a mistake and not something that I think someone should be upset about.
Shit, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Hell no.
But he texted me back and said something just so dry and so emotionless, and it triggered me. It was just so unlike him because, like I said, he handled me with so much care. And in relationships that I've had in the past, I don't like being treated like I'm being punished for doing something wrong. Like, if there's something that you don't like me doing, say it. Don't withdraw emotion, if that makes sense. I didn't like it. So I was like, it's early enough, I'm just going to cut this off. And I didn't even respond. I just ghosted him, which I know is hypocritical from what I just said. But cut my losses, cut him off. And we didn't talk for maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. During that time, though, he watched every single story I posted. I muted his. He liked all my selfies. He liked all my tweets. And I was making, special care to avoid all of his, because that's just me. I think I literally tweeted during that time frame, like, my husband would never, because I just didn't think that, like, he was the guy for me, and that I'm realizing now is my intuition. I wish I would have listened to her. Good Lord. But I was ready to be done with him is basically how it felt. One day, though, this was probably like a week, not even a week, less than a week before Christmas, though, he messages me and he was like, are you good? This was on Instagram. And I was like, yep. Like, yeah, I'm fine. Why? What's up? And he was like, you just haven't responded to me or something like that. And I was like, yeah, your last message was so dry that, like, I didn't even want to entertain it for a second. Why would I? We got into a talk from there. We kind of explained each other's sides, and we both understood each other's sides, but we like talked through the issue is basically the root of that conversation. And he was like, I missed you. And I said, I know. I know you missed me. He basically was saying like he liked me so much and he was really disappointed that he didn't get to talk to me. He wished that I had just said what I was feeling at the time instead of ghosting him, because the therapist popped out, like, you talk through things. You're supposed to fix things and not just run away from them. But from there, we kind of rekindled things. We kissed and made up, and we were right back to talking heavy like we had been the weeks prior. FaceTimes, calls, texts, all day long, all over again, right? Like, nothing had lapsed. He continued that pattern every single day, minus like maybe 1 or 2 days where I caught an attitude with him on like New Year's and I just didn't want to talk to him. But on New Year's Day, we rekindled, and he FaceTimed me that morning, actually. So, like, everything was good from there. He was literally like, I can't stay mad at you once he saw me. Yeah, like, things were just fine after that. Really started to, like, kind of get to know each other and grow to like each other. I really cannot explain to you how much time and effort this man poured into me. Since some of my past relationships, I've been very, very avoidant and very quick to cut someone off at, like, the first hint of something. But he would, every single time, grab me by neck and pull me back in. Would always maintain that he wanted to work through problems and like fix things, because that's what you do in a relationship. We had all the conversations that you could think of, like FaceTime dates for hours at a time sometimes. He would call me every single day on his lunch break. I would sit there and I would talk to his coworkers. I would meet all his friends. I FaceTime
she was family.
His friends would literally be like, he went by the nickname Speech. He'd be like, Speech is a good guy. You gotta make sure you take care of him. Like, he wasn't going around. But yeah, like after finding out what I found out, like I truly don't understand how this man had enough hours in the day. Nor do I understand how he had an abundance of men, these friends that like were not shit as he was. Because I felt so prioritized and like I was becoming part of his life as he was mine. He talked to my coworkers too. What the
they was sis and bros.
We were talking about kids, we were talking about marriage, we were talking about how he wanted me to come and like sit in the gym at his basketball place, or sit and watch him play basketball at his gym with all the other wives and baby mamas. He would be annoyed if I took too long to respond to him. He would literally call me if like I hadn't texted back in a quick enough time. He's calling me baby, honey, my love, my wonderful lady. Like I had all these nicknames. We were talking about our future together, our past traumas, like getting deep, and I was guarded and he knew that, and he actively worked to get me to trust him. There was one time where he told me that he was going on a hike, so I knew he was gonna be kind of like out of pocket that day, but I was expecting him to still wake up and text me good morning like he had every single other day. I didn't hear from that man until 7 p.m. my time. I think he's Pacific time, so it's like 3 hours behind, 4 p.m. his time. So I was like, that's annoying, and I was really irritated by it. But I was trying not to be. Coincidentally, that same day, someone had gone through like my media tab on Twitter and liked this picture of, it was like a silhouette of my ass. It's a good picture. I ended up reposting it, and I like shared it to my Instagram story too. And I was like, oldie but goodie or something was like the caption that I put. A little bit after I posted that and he texted me, he responded to my Instagram story and he was like, wow, I literally...
Damn, it cut off. Damn, all right, so look, let me go see what I can find on this real quick and try to add it to this video. Give me a couple of seconds. Let me try to put this together. I see a name up there. Y'all already know I don't be hiding the names and all that. So, yeah, I'm going to go try to find that. I'm adding to this video. And then we're going to finish the little saga that they got going on. All right, y'all. So, look, it's a part 2 and part 3. I'm going to add to this video real quick. So, yeah, just hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to add this. I got to see what the hell is going on because it's getting better and better and better. She a good storyteller, too. So, hold on. Give me a second. Let me add this. And we're going to get right in the mix. All right, y'all. So, they added. Let's go ahead and get into it and see what's the hell going on. This lying fucker. All right, let's go.
Can't leave you alone even just for a little bit. And I was like, you shouldn't want to. I had been annoyed, and I will admit that like me sharing that photo was probably somewhat vindictive. It was mainly because someone liked the photo and it kind of brought it back up in my memories, but whatever. I had been annoyed because like all day without any sort of communication, not a good morning, nothing. While like the Instagram messaging was happening, we were simultaneously going back and forth over text. I don't know exactly how this conversation happened. I could go back and look, but he at some point made a joke about how me sharing the photo on my story was worse than the fact that like he had hung out and gone on this hike with like another woman. He knows I'm a crash out, and I did not take kindly to that joke. I lost my mind. I basically told him like I don't do the multiple women shit. I don't care if we're not officially dating. Like I don't do that. I also told him, like, because I hadn't heard from him all day, I was like, we have different communication styles. I know I'm clingy, but I still need, like, the communication to tell me that you're not going to be able to communicate. And I was like, we have very different communication styles and needs, and you can't meet that for me, so that's fine. I'm done, basically. I was like, we're good here.
Okay,
He tried
cool.
calling me, and I ignored it. Then he tried texting me, being like, call me. Like, are you being serious right now? We were arguing. He convinced me to call him, so I did. This is why I keep saying, like, I don't know how this man had enough hours in the day. During that call, I was arguing about how I like needed communication. Basically, I was like, I can't do the going all day without hearing from you thing. I was like, even if you're busy that day, check in the morning, say you're gonna talk to me later, and like I'll be fine. I was also saying like I didn't believe that you were alone on that hike, and he's like, I wasn't alone, I was with a group. And he's like, I was just joking about it being another woman. But he did say, he's like, no one's on their phone, so I didn't feel like I should be on my phone either. And I was like, I get that, but like you still woke up that morning and like were on your phone, and then you left for your hike. I was like, there could have been a text to me somewhere in that. So that's why I'm like a little irritated, just because you went the whole day. You know I don't like the jokes about other women, like that sort of thing. So long story short, we talked through that, and he was kind of like walking me through my emotions like a therapist would. He talked me off the ledge. He was very reassuring. I was like, I know I'm clingy. I know I need clear communication. Otherwise I get really imaginative. But he was so reassuring, and he was like, I'll never miss another good morning. He talked to me through my feelings and was literally like, do you know that you being this upset about this means that like you're starting to catch feelings for me and that you really like me? And he's like, do you know that I really like you too? I kept saying I don't know, because I was like mad and I didn't want to confirm it.
Hold on,
basically,
you know what?
The worst thing I could do.
It sounds like cuz over there practicing on her his psychological skills and things like that. Don't it sound like that? I'm pretty sure he did like her and things like that. True enough, but it sounds like he's practicing. You know what I'm saying? Manipulation tactics and mental gymnastics and different things like that. I could be wrong, but I'm seeing a pattern of certain things, like he pulling certain triggers and certain strings to get certain reactions and trying to funnel a way through, even though some dudes do that naturally. But I think, you know, going to school for certain things and then you got a perfect person to practice on is what's probably going on too, to a certain extent. Let's get back into it though.
Let a man know I like him. I didn't want to agree, but what blows me about this is that he asked me during this conversation, are you afraid of getting hurt? And I said, of course I am. Like, of course I am. And he assured me that he wasn't going to hurt me. And I said to that, I was like, I just don't know if I can trust you. And when he asked me why, I was like, I don't know. Men just like to lie and waste your time like that. Like, I don't... When I said that, he seemed so offended that I would accuse him of doing something like that. And I remember he texted me, I think it was prior to us getting on the phone, like when he convinced me to call him. But he had said, like, do you really think I have the time and energy to entertain 4 women? And I was like, I don't know your life. But he was one for semantics. So I'm like, if it wasn't 4, it was definitely at least 2. But whatever. He talked me through that conversation, said he would never miss a good morning, and things are okay after that. I remember vividly that conversation was when I was like, my heart is safe with him. That's when I decided that I could trust him and that I was officially done pushing him away. We were locked in. I was confident that this was going to be my next man, and things were really good after that. From this point on, it was like the same thing. I was talking daily. We were talking about a future, and I decided to... My close friends on Instagram is like, I trust them with my fucking life. Like, I would give them my social security number if they asked for it. I trust them. I decided to share on my close friends that, like, I had found a guy that I liked. This is after, like, at least a month of us talking. I hate that I'm, like, upset about a man this fucked up. But yeah, I overshared to my close friends a lot. I told them about him, and they were all asking questions and like whatever. I was like super excited. I liked this man. Like after that conversation, I decided I was all in. I crocheted him a fucking hat. Like I literally made this hat because he's an Eagles fan. I liked him, okay? I was posting, like, screenshots of our conversations, and they were all like, wow, Kendra, I could tell that you really like this man. You're in love. And I did. I liked him. We had, like, a really good thing going. I felt very secure in it. And around this time is when I had, like, finally hit my 90 days of work. So I got my leave situation figured out. And he and I decided to like definitively make plans for meeting up and like taking that vacation that we had talked about. He lives in California and I live in Virginia. He's a big Eagles fan. So we had talked about going to like wherever the Eagles were playing, and I don't know football, so they were gonna be in like Wisconsin or Michigan or something like that. So we were gonna take a trip out to there, and he was gonna fly me out. This was all gonna be on him. He had always said he's a provider, he's a protector, like he was gonna get me there, basically.
Yeah.
As time went on, we shifted gears a little bit, and we decided that we were just going to meet up in Philadelphia. He wanted to go to the official Eagles like merch store or whatever and get some merch, get me a jersey, and we were just going to kind of explore the city. And he wanted to get me a really nice hotel room with him and go on our first like official proper date. And then on Sunday, I think the plan was for us to go to like an official Eagles bar, and we were going to watch the game, and then he would fly back that same night. I live in Virginia, like I said, so it's only like a 2, maybe 3 hour drive for me. It's nothing to like get to Philly. So I was super down to do that, and I was really excited to like meet him. Looking back now, one kind of red flag kept popping up. This weekend is a long weekend. So Monday is both Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Inauguration Day. Everyone, for the most part, is off work on Monday. Flights for him to come in on a Friday and leave on Sunday were like, at minimum, for even Spirit Airlines, $800 to like $1,000. It's expensive. That on top of like the hotel cost, the cost of our dates, he wanted to buy me a dress and just overall splash out, like get a rental car, like all the things that he would have to spend money on. I felt bad. Like, I have no problem with men spending their money, but I just felt bad. It was going to be a very, like, overly expensive weekend, whereas he could either come to Virginia or we could push it back a week, and it would be, like, half the cost.
She really liked him.
I like to kind of look for things like that, and that's something that he would always make fun of me for, but I was just like, we could do this another time. I wanted him to get the best bang for his buck, essentially.
Yeah.
And also one other thing is we forgot that on Sunday, like when we would go to the bar, it would be in Eastern time. So he was so used to it being in was that Pacific time zone or whatever. So the game wouldn't start until 4 p.m. He would be used to it starting at 1 p.m. He would watch it until like maybe 3 or 4 and then be able to catch a flight back home. He wouldn't be able to catch a flight until like 7 at the earliest. So that was just going to be a very, very long day of travel. So I was like, why don't you just go back home on Monday? Like, you're off work. I think it's just gonna be so much easier. Like, yeah, it's another night at the hotel, but still, like, just go back Monday. And he was very like,
he gotta be back home.
He was very like weird about deciding to leave on Monday, and he kind of gave me like non-answers until finally he was very firmly like, no, I'm going back on Sunday.
He said
okay,
no.
Whatever. But keep that in mind. He wanted to go back on Sunday, not Monday. Monday is January 20th. So we're planning this trip and like we're getting super excited. I was really excited to meet him. And then the California fires happen.
Yeah.
He has to evacuate to a friend's house.
Oh, man.
And like, I know like this was never about me, but I can't tell you how terrified I was for him. Like, I was stressed. I was worried. I was terrified. We would literally be on FaceTime and I would step out of the camera to cry because my heart hurt so bad for him. I really, really cared about him.
Damn,
like, I knew he was physically safe, but what upset me, I'm not even crying for him. I'm crying for, like, I'm just empathic. Like, right now I wish the fire would have taken his house. I was so, like, sad in the moment just thinking of any psychological damage that would have happened to him. Like, I knew he was physically safe. He had evacuated to a friend's house, but I was just hurt thinking of, like, depression, having to leave and, like, just dealing with the unknown and the uncertainty and all the things that, like, come with having to evacuate your house in a natural disaster or whatever. I was so sick over that for him. I literally thought that like this was gonna be my next man. Like, I can't express enough how worried I was for him, how bad my heart hurt for him. And I was trying so hard not to be another stressor in that. I told him like, text me when you can. Like, I was really trying to just kind of give him the space that he needed to get the things done that he needed to get done. I really just wanted to be there for him and like do anything that I could to help him from literally across the whole country. I was trying to not overwhelm him and be as clingy as I normally am. And to my surprise, he was actually very, very communicative. Like, the amount of times that we FaceTimed and texted really didn't decrease. A little bit, but like not by much. He was at one place and then I think like the next night he had to end up evacuating again. This evacuation is where things became like a little bit suspicious to me. Like I said before, when we had that one like conversation and argument and after we made up, I decided to completely trust him. Like, I gave him my heart. I was in it. He evacuated to this friend's house. Something was just a little off to me. He got real non-binary when he was talking about like the people that were there, And I thought that it was just because he knows that like I'm a crash out, and that I wasn't gonna be mad if he was like in a house with a bunch of women. Like, you are literally trying to run for your life. Like, I'm not mad about that. But we'd be on FaceTime, and he'd be like, they are gonna make us a taco bar or something tonight, or they are going to do this today. So like, he got real non-binary about it, but he was still being very communicative. We were still FaceTiming pretty much the normal amount. I remember we were talking, and he said something about like how he was just kind of depressed and stressed, and I was like, can you just FaceTime me? Like, I was literally like crying this day over him, and I was like, can you just FaceTime me? I just want to make sure you're good. I want to hear your voice. And he said, yes, I'll step out. And like, that was an immediate red flag to me. I was like, why do you have to step out when I've literally been on FaceTime with you and your friends? Like, I've FaceTimed you from your house. Like, why would you have to step out? But I let it go, and I placed the order, and it was a 7-Eleven order. He FaceTimed me the entire walk to the 7-Eleven and the entire way back too. And I remember he got to like the front door, and then he kind of abruptly hung up, and he texted me saying like, sorry, I cut you off there. And I was like, I just said thank you for calling. And I let it go. It was like the first day after he had to evacuate again, and any suspicions that I had were kind of like calmed by the fact that for the next couple days, like, we FaceTimed, we called, texted, whatever, mostly from his car. But like, he had said that he didn't feel useful in the house, so he was trying to just kind of get out. So that was kind of his excuse for that. I don't think he had to go into work, but he had to go, or he didn't have to. He decided to go to this place called Cyber City. It's like a little gaming place in like the LA area, I guess. It was just his little solace, like his home away from home, his way to kind of get out of the house and have fun, not be in the way, which is what he kept saying he felt like he was. And he had also said that like, he hadn't been eating. He was like, I just haven't been thinking about it. He had been stressed, he had been busy, whatever. So I know that like, when you're not taking care of your body, like, your mental's gonna suffer, and his mental already was suffering. So I just wanted to do my part as a good girl would, and make sure that he was fed. So I Uber Eats him some foods, like the Cyber City place. This was like not 2 days in a row, but like I did it twice at least, in addition to the other order that I got him. I literally like hung out with him on FaceTime after I ordered it, watched it pull up and him get the order and go inside to go eat it. And it was kind of like a rinse and repeat the next few days. That was kind of the routine, is he would just want to be out of the house. And I'm realizing now that's because his girlfriend was there with him, but we talked on FaceTime like normal. We talked about details of her trip. It was kind of in the air. I was really I really didn't want him to come, sort of. I wanted to see him, and I did want him to come, but I didn't want him to like not be there mentally. I didn't want the whole LA fires thing looming over him while he was there, and him to not be able to like fully be present with me, basically. So I was like, don't feel bad if you have to cancel or postpone. Like, it's absolutely fine. And I low-key wanted him to cancel too. Just because I was like, I want you to have time to kind of get things together. We didn't know about the status of his apartment, if it was still standing or not. I just didn't want all of that looming over him. And like I said, I had just been so worried about him. You know, eventually he confirmed that like he wanted this trip to move forward. So I got on board, and I think that was this last Saturday. And because I was on board, I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and book all my appointments. I booked my nails, booked like everything I needed to book. And I was also like, let me go ahead and get the deep dive out of the way. I'm crazy. Like I said, I'm a crash out. I always do a deep dive on like all the men I date, usually within like minutes of meeting them. But for whatever reason, I decided to be just trusting with him this time, and I didn't do the usual deep dive that I normally do. I did like a little bit of a dive on him, but like nowhere near as deep as I normally do. But I was like, yeah, for my own safety, I'm just gonna go ahead and look into him. Basically, I was like, I'm not gonna traveling to a city to meet a man in general is crazy anyway.
Kinda, yeah.
Doing that without having like done your proper research on him.
Yes, that's it.
So yeah, I did. He was at the Cyber City place on like Wilson Boulevard in LA or whatever. And I had just gotten him Chinese food, so I could make sure that he was fed. And then I knew he was kind of there just like gaming for a little bit, and he was occupied. So I decided to search his name on Twitter. Nothing crazy came up, actually. The only thing I kept noticing was that in his mentions, the same page of a girl kept popping up, and I was like, that's so annoying. I was like, who is this bitch? Basically, like, is this some like friend that he has out there who's just a little too involved?
Yeah.
So I kept scrolling. I was trying to ignore it, but she just kept popping up. I was like, what the fuck? So I clicked on her page and started to scroll a little bit just to see like who she was. She was a massive influencer. I think she has like 150K on Instagram and like 30K on 150K on Twitter and like 30K on Instagram. And he's crazy as fuck for that alone. But anyway, I was scrolling through her tweets and I just saw a lot of things that were very coincidental. I saw this picture that she took of like, I think it was like the sky. The sky was black because of like obviously the fires in LA. And she was like, we're evacuating now. Like the sky looks crazy, basically was her caption. And in her photo, I could tell that she was sitting passenger in a Tesla. And he drives a Tesla. And I was like, huh, okay, maybe they're roommates, but noted. And a few more tweets. She tweeted about seeing Nosferatu and Wicked. And those were two movies that he had recently gone to see and that like we talked about after. He was like big into critiquing movies. And I saw that she saw them. So I went back in our text and I saw that she saw them on the same days that he saw them. Like,
they on a date.
I scrolled further and I saw a tweet that she put out that said like, dating a 6'3" gym rat is all fun and games until they like get hungry because they eat so fucking much. You know, it's like, that's so weird because I too am dating a 6'3" gym rat who likes to eat a lot. That's so weird. Noted. And then what did it for me is she posted a picture of his dog, and I lost it. I lost it. I was
Posted
like,
a picture
oh
of little cuz.
I knew back from like the very first tweet in the Tesla. I knew then, but the dog tweet took me out. Fuck. And so from there, I kept kind of like manically scrolling through her media tab, and I found a picture of them together. I was like, God damn it! And then I went to her Instagram, and I found more of them together. I think the second I found like pictures of them together on Instagram, I immediately decided to message her, and I'm really glad that I did because I think I would have lost my nerve had I not been. I was crashing out. I posted on my close friend story, and I literally was like, I'm finding out in real time that this man has a girlfriend, and I think they live together. She, like I said, she's a big influencer. She has a lot of followers, so I messaged one of our mutual friends, and I was like, can you please message her and tell her to message me back right now? And luckily our mutual friend did. She ended up seeing my message and she responded to me. I told her everything. And I said, are you dating Montez? And she said, yeah. And I said, are you guys dating exclusively? And she said, yeah. Our 5-year anniversary is actually on Monday the 20th. And I said that he was super weird about like maintaining that he went home on January 19th. I think I now know why. I think it's his 5-year.
You know how, man, that's really low, bro. To actually go do all this cheating you finna go do the day before your anniversary. Man, that's crazy, bro. Damn, that's crazy, bro. It was just meant for him to get caught. You feel me? Because I see that she's the type of person that really, really loves hard. And she probably would end up doing something to that boy. Not saying you crazy if you run across this. I'm just saying, I know emotions. Like they said, emotions make you cry sometimes and all that. It make you trip out and spaz out too. On top of all of that. And I do feel like it's lame to be doing all this lying, bro. You can literally get with another person that'll be okay with your situation. Not saying that she will be. I'm just speaking in general. But, you know, some people find challenges in certain things and they want to conquer, so they'll do certain things like that. Montez, you out there tripping, cuz. What's wrong with you, man? And you know your girl got a little following and stuff like that. And then you got the nerve to be out here doing that, man. You tripping, bro. But you lucky that you didn't meet this girl. And then your wife ended up coming out there kitchen y'all together trying to surprise you, sneak up on you, end up taking your life. Cuz you better be careful, man, with all the stuff that y'all be out here doing, bro. I think it's okay and easier than you think to just tell the damn truth. Let's get into it. It's almost over.
Anniversary was the next day on January the 20th, and he was planning to spend that weekend beforehand with me.
He tripping.
But anyway, I continued telling her everything that we had been talking super heavily and how I thought we had a future together and all these things. She asked a few questions and I sent her a bunch of screenshots, whatever. She She asked me if I would allow her to confront him first, and I was like, absolutely. Like, I'm never speaking to that man again.
Yeah, that's your man.
She and I kept messaging back and forth, and I was trying to give her kind of whatever proof I had via screenshots. And she was saying that, like, it's so crazy how people live a double life. And I was like, yeah, it really is insane. Like, he's not the person that I thought he was. And I was like, I'm so sorry for this timing, because I knew that she was currently evacuated from her home. And I was like, you know, I hope that you make the choice that's right for you, but you deserve so much more than this man has to offer you. And she said thank you, and I was like, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any more questions. I think that she ended up texting him like in that moment saying, we need to talk, and he was still at the Cyber City like gaming place at the time. I know that the second that she texted him, he ended up FaceTiming me. I think he called like maybe 2 or 3 times, and I ended up declining all the calls. So he texted me a question mark.
He in trouble.
And I sent a screenshot to her, and I was like, he's FaceTiming me right now, trying to get in contact. I know that he got home like very shortly after that, and I think that she ended up confronting him then. She messaged me like very shortly after, basically denied everything. And he said that he was just trying to use me for sex, that he never cared about me, he didn't want to be with me. He was denying all the allegations and whatever. But she messaged me saying like, he just left again, and let me know if he reaches out to you. And right when I got her message saying that, he texted me just the word, wow. So I texted her, or I messaged her back, and I told her that. I will say that like the entire time that she and I were messaging, she seemed a little bit in shock, but she was very, very calm. Like, simply put, she wasn't mad enough for me. I didn't know if that's because she was processing it or if she's used to this, but it didn't seem like it was the first time that he had done this, and it also didn't seem like she was leaving. And from what I've seen after, I think it's confirmed. I think she's staying with that man. You know, and everyone makes a choice that's right for them in their life, and that's what I told her to do too. You know, and maybe she's making moves behind the scenes that I don't know about. Like I said, they're currently displaced from the fires together. And, you know, maybe she's just kind of planning, but I'm trying very, very hard not to judge. But I will say that, like, girl, if you stay with that man, that's embarrassing. That man does not care about you in the way that he might have led you to believe. And you are doing yourself a disservice by continuing to breathe the same air as that man. He is a f***ed up liar with mommy and daddy issues that will never be resolved. He's going to continue to spread his damage to people who don't deserve it, and you are enabling him to do so if you stay. And I really don't intend to be rude. Like I said, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I can't stand when women stay and when they allow men like that to continue to be destructive and harmful. I can't stand it. Time spent is not enough of a reason to stay. He didn't care about losing you, nor does he now that he's been caught. You know, as much as he acts like he does now, he doesn't give a fuck, and he's likely been doing what he did with me with tens of other women across the country. You know, with how quick he was to talk about booking a flight for me and flying me out. I know he's doing this with other girls. The same thoughtful things that I saw him doing for you when I was scrolling through your media tab, he was talking about doing with me. He doesn't care about you. He damn near referred to you as his maid. He said he has like a cleaning service that comes, and that's why his apartment stays so put together. He's only fighting for you because he is so used to the stability that you guys have built together, but he didn't give a past few months that he was talking about building with me. I hope that you will protect yourself and leave. At the very least, get an STD test. I'll tell you to do that now. It's just disappointing, but that's pretty much how I found out. I told her I was never going to talk to him again, but I did end up texting him. It all happened on like it was like a Saturday night into Sunday morning. Like I was up until like 1 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday morning. I'll show you the screenshot of what I said. And I meant every word, too.
Ooh.
He's just lucky that I didn't get into his abandonment issues about his mommy and daddy and how the two of them leaving him contributes to him being the shitty man that he grew into today. But, you know, if he ever wants to reach out and hear about it, I'm happy to tell him. Anyway, men like that are trash, and I just don't understand how they put so much energy into wasting your time. And it just sucks because, like, I really did care about him so much. And I won't lie, like, I'm hurt. I'm sad. This is low-key been traumatizing and very jarring. It feels like a breakup. Like I said, I thought that like that was going to be my next man. I thought we had a future together, but I'll be okay. I'm just glad that I found out before I met up with him, and this, as sad as I am, like this is not going to derail me. This has nothing to do with me, really. This is his own illness that like he wanted to pull people who didn't deserve it into because he can't fix himself and he doesn't want to suffer alone. And I don't deserve that. I guess here's to having a free weekend again, and to not being stupid enough to stay in a situation like that, and to finding the person who will never embarrass me with the way that they love me in the future. I'm really excited for that. Yeah, if you have any questions, happy to answer anything before TikTok does or does not go away. Thank you for watching.
Man, that was a good story time, man. You know, I do want to say that I don't want to consider people just stupid. Some people just be in love. Some people know their spouse. Some people just are okay with certain things. There's a lot of different things that go into this. Some people's morals is not in the same place as yours. You feel me? But at the same time, if somebody really out here just literally embarrassing you like publicly and stuff like that, yeah, there's something. But this can, I mean, I don't even want to get into what this can be considered as, you know what I'm saying? Because she chose to do this on her own. Some people just get played in private and go ahead and push on. But some people do like to expose it. So it is what it is. I just want to say it's lame to be lying. You know, it's easier said than done to tell the truth. But it feels so good just to be you. You know what I'm saying? To be authentically yourself, unapologetically yourself, and just living in your truth. All that lying and all the other shit, man, I used to do that so much back in the day, bro. I feel crazy doing that. Why did I do that? I really belittled myself in so many different ways. And I know I lost respect in certain places with certain people for me lying like that. But it is what it is. I'm a whole different man now, you know. I'm going to definitely tell the truth in every way I can. It's as hard as it may be, I'm going to do that. But you know, a lot of people don't stop doing it because they like the game. They like the games, the mental gymnastics, and all the other type of shit that come with it. It just ain't in me no more. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully that man, he'll grow out of that. And yeah, man, if you're in a situation with somebody that's consistently playing or lying to you and things like that, just leave them alone. I won't respect them at all, you know. And if you know your spouse and they do certain things and you're willing to accept it, that's on you. But for somebody to literally just be playing in your face, I just have never understood that. So get up out of these situations as soon as a problem presents itself, and that way you can live a happy, healthy life. You don't want to be out here crashing out doing crazy shit behind somebody who obviously ain't really for you. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I want to know your thoughts and opinions on everything, and I will holler at y'all later on another video. Alright.